Trust the process. Pain is power. All great things take time. I am unbreakable. Unbreakable. Unbreakable.
Self-proclaimed wolf of music, executive and entrepreneur, former president of Republic and Epic Records, he is also known for being a judge on the hit Fox reality series The Four. He has also been honored on Billboard's Power 100 list through the course of his 30-year career in the music industry. Walk has played a pivotal role to some of the biggest names in music industry, such as New Kids on the Block, Mariah Carey, Ariana Grande, Destiny's Child, Beyoncé, Drake, John Meyer, just to name a few. He is building a global music community called Music Mastery to help artists all around the world. Without any further ado, please help me welcome Charlie Walk.
How are you? Nice to be here.
Nice to
So
have you.
happy to be here. So excited
Absolutely.
during this Corona
Yeah.
time where we get to actually all be equalized and be able to meet new people like yourself and communicate. And it's amazing. So I'm happy.
Absolutely. So how have you been with this whole COVID-19 and how have you been adjusting?
So I am very lucky. We're outside of the city right now with my family. So it's calm. So
Nice.
we don't really see the desolate part of like going through where we live, New York City. This
Mhm.
seeing empty streets in New York City is disruptive. It really is, it's like driving it's like you're driving a tank through Times Square and there's no one there. And the screens are lit, but it's lit differently, and it just feels like there's a real, pandemic happening. Where I am, I'm in a neighborhood. There's a cul-de-sac, and it's peaceful. But what that's allowed me to do, I spent more time with artists, more stuff with music mastery, which we'll talk about. I bought a Rodecaster Pro podcast.
Ooh, how do
Uh,
you like that so far? I've been looking to maybe get one of
all
those
right,
and
so here's
test
the
it.
deal. Most people don't need it. You can really go direct on Anchor and a lot of the apps. But if you really have the time to learn, um, it's pro. It's incredible. It's small. It's $500. It's a great investment. You can even do video stuff. Use it as a mixing board.
That's
It's
awesome.
tiny. It's a great company. So I have the Rode mics I bought.
I have those.
Uh,
Yeah, I have the Rode mics too.
it's awesome. You can adjust your voice. It's very pro. It's a pro unit for amateurs or pros. So I'm learning how to do that now. We're launching our podcast, I think May 1st. I'm
Ooh,
gonna record that over the weekend. So I got to like get into the tech stuff. We launched a merch store. So we learn about Shopify. You learn about, how to integrate Shopify and PayPal and all the tech stuff. And everything really is how the tech connects. So we can not necessarily be in an office, but you can do whatever you want, whatever your dream is, whatever your DNA is, whatever you're trying to do through technology. And that's exactly what we're doing right now. It's amazing.
absolutely. And I feel like especially with these times, it's allowed people to pick up different skill sets, right? Like it's crazy because time has suddenly stopped. Everybody's on an even playing field where there's really no excuse. You want to do something, you're passionate about something, you just gotta try it. Like look at you, you're starting a new podcast, you're learning the back end stuff, the technical stuff. And I think it's great. Really do. So here in the Unbreakables, what I usually do is I really want to dive in to who you were before you reached the music industry. So if we can just take it back
Yeah,
just a little bit.
yeah. I'll take you back till I was 8 years old. In Music Mastery, the program, one of the episodes is on finding your starchip. And what that means is I believe everyone's born with a specific, unique, proprietary DNA chip, which I call the star chip. And we've trademarked it. And what that means is, I was listening to songs on a little radio in my bedroom for 7, 8, 9 years old. I was finding hits, singing, dancing. like I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but what I was actually doing was picking the hits.
Wow.
So as you get into like 10, 11, 12, 13, everyone's playing football and all that stuff. And I became a member of a band and learned the drums, and I was a singer, but I knew I wasn't really that good. I was
Right.
good, but I was really going to be the artist behind the artist. So I knew and identified it very early. And I say that to everyone else. If you go ask your mom or your dad or how you were raised and what were some of the key things you were doing, it probably very much relates to what you ended up doing later on in your life. So the key to get ahead is to identify it earlier than later. So I did. So now I'm trying to show everyone like how do you even like if you're stuck, really go back and think about what you're great at and then apply that greatness to the real world. 9 times out of 10, that person will end up being the doctor that they should have been, the lawyer. Um, I find that people that are lost in their late 20s and 30s never really thought about it this way. They just sort of went to college or not. And they sort of got lazy, or maybe they did their parents' business. I know a lot of friends of mine that are in landscaping. They'll end up being landscaping like their dads. It doesn't mean I don't believe they were born with the landscaping chip.
They just
Like
settled for
maybe their dad, they settled for it. They settled for it, and then they're there mowing the lawn every day. Like, what the hell am I doing? Where they really may be like the best chef or the best coder,
it.
but they're mowing lawns. Now, I have friends that make millions of dollars mowing lawns. I'm not putting it down. What I'm saying is, how do they know really that that's what they should be doing? Because the business is handed to them, generational, fine. It's very rare you're going to find someone generationally that is going to be great at what their grandfather or father was doing, right?
Of course, of course.
Because the biggest stars that I know in the music business, their parents weren't stars.
Usually, right?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, there's always going to be the exception to the rule in everything that we say, but for the most part, I'm right. So yeah, and then so I knew what I wanted to do. So the minute I was in college, my freshman year, working at the biggest top 40 radio station in America, college rep for what was CBS Records that became Sony. As a college rep for $50 a week, I got that job. I fought for that job, and I got to meet everybody from alternative groups called Alice in Chains. Got to meet LL Cool J during his Def Jam days. Got to help break and develop New Kids on the Block from a marketing perspective out of Boston, where they were from. And the funnels to entry, if you were a group back then, were just really the radio. MTV sort of was coming on. There was no YouTube. There was no internet. It was just sort of like this radio funnel.
There weren't
So you
as
had to
many
be
news
creative.
sources, right, as there are today.
There were none. There was no Twitter. You had to get like local press maybe, and someone that assumes someone's reading the paper. You have to get a news story on you. That means that assumes someone's watching the local news. It was local news, local news. Everything was local, local news, local newspapers, and local radio stations. And that was sort of like the funnel, the ecosystem, the local ecosystem of trying to get noticed. That's hard, right?
Of course.
It's a very narrow funnel.
So going back to when you were 7, 8 years old and you realized that you had greatness in you, right? You knew you had a star chip.
I knew I did. Yeah.
Did your parents see otherwise, or were they resistant to that field? Like knowing, no, you're not gonna, be in the music industry. I want you to be a doctor. Like, especially in those times, I'm sure it was a lot harder, right? And it wasn't as recognized as it is today. But so like take me back to that moment with when you told your parents, like, no, this is what I want to do.
So when I was like 10 or 11, I was going to an overnight camp, a boys' overnight camp, and I learned that the alma mater of the chairman at the time of Capitol Records was a man named Joe Smith, who recently passed away. And I sent Joe a note. Grew up with my grandparents in Chelsea, Massachusetts, and he wrote me back and just sort of once in a while checked in with me. And I actually became what I became through people like mentorship, connectivity, and belief that, hey, if he can be a local boy that made it to Hollywood, California, so could I. So my mom's thing was, you need to have professional internships and we'll support you. And not necessarily full on financially, but enough to live and eat and follow my dreams. So I appreciate the support of the parents to let me do what I was feeling. They didn't really understand what I was feeling. And that's why Music Mastery is also, I put together a community where we all can talk and,
Be
you
open
know,
about it.
yeah, well, why are you stuck? What's going on? I have one artist that put out an amazing song last week. She did one or two posts the week before. I'm like, what were you doing the last 6 weeks to create amazing content? Like, why am I telling you this?
Hmm.
Why am
Hmm.
I, is that my job? I'm a babysitter?
Hmm.
Now I'm a babysitter. I'm not a manager. I'm a babysitter. So I'm very hard on the artist that way to push them because the truth is I'm out. I can't help you if you don't want it as much as I do. You have to really just want it more than me.
Absolutely.
You have to want it more than me, as someone next to the artist. And
I
that's one of the
feel
that's one of the things that we've really figured out.
and I feel from a mentor perspective, you're there to guide them, right? So going back to the God-given gift and the starship, how can one that maybe is passionate about something but not really sure if it's something that they are able to monetize or able to pursue, how can one discover their starship?
Well, I think you have to really take a look at yourself, right? So in this conversation, like I happen to be a music guy, but I'm really a brand guy at the end of the day. I got really good at doing it in music, but I'm really just as excited about Flow Water, which I'm an investor in, as much as I am with Music Mastery and creating merch and doing cool stuff. So um, um, I think you really just have to look and see what you find yourself attracted
Hmm.
to. And then what you find yourself even searching, Googling, and sort of write it all down and say, wait a minute, it's having an outer body experience and having a real conversation with yourself on who you are, who the hell you are, what the hell you're doing. And you can analyze it from that. I mean, I knew what I was doing, and I'm sure if you go back 10, 15 years on who you are, the things that you were doing really define you today. It's no different for anybody else. So in my case, I just really, in finding your starship, you, Tom Brady was playing, probably throwing spirals at 6 years old.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, and I use that as a great example. Michael Rubin, CEO of Fanatics, is a very good friend of mine who creates all of the merch for every major sports team in the world, including college sports. He was selling ski equipment and merch out of his truck,
Wow.
at 15 years old. Now he's a three times billionaire. And he loves sports, and he figured out a way to connect sports and merch together in a collective way, right? Being white labeling all of the all the major sports teams across all sports to be the aggregator of their merch through Fanatics. And that started many, many years ago, not dissimilar to me. So in finding it, I think, okay, simply if anyone's stuck and watching this right now, write down a week of what you've done. Even not really like the dinner or the lunch or the
Right, right.
hang, but like what are you searching for when you're alone on the internet? What stops you when the scrolls keep on going on TikTok or Instagram? What stops the scroll for you? What stops that scroll to pique your interest?
Hmm.
And then you can kind of figure out pretty quick of what it is. Are you great at numbers? So in school, do you get all A's in calculus and math? Okay, interesting. Do you like finance? Interesting. So is it stock trading, Wall Street, hedge funds?
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm not that great at math, so I didn't touch it.
Yeah, me neither
And
am
then
I.
by the way though, but I am interested in the markets, and all my friends that are in the markets have made millions of dollars, but like I try and I just can't do it. Doesn't mean I'm a loser. I just really don't have that chip to make me great at it.
Hmm.
So I pay someone else to buy those stocks for me, right?
Absolutely.
And then the other thing is like people have to pay for you. So when I started Music Mastery, like everyone's like signing up and they think it's free. And I'm like, well, if I'm the top doctor in the world of music, why would you not pay the top doctor? Because I think everyone has to also not just define their starship, but their
Your value
value.
as well.
What is your value? And that's something that some people don't know how to ask for. And if people can't afford, for example, to be in my community, then that's okay. It's not for them because it's premium. We're premium.
Mhm.
And anything that I try to do, whether it's putting out back in the day Ariana Grande or all these big artists, Post Malone, Shawn Mendes, or artists that I've spent time with, like Camila Cabello, they're premium, global,
Mhm.
superstar, trained assassin killers that just are focused. They're Olympians. They're harder on themselves than any parent or friend could ever be. And there's a reason why consistently they're the biggest stars in the world, including Drake.
Oh,
These artists
he's
have
always
a have
grinding.
a they have a superstar star chip that's on a whole nother level.
Mhm.
There's only a few of those made though, right? So you have to define your star chip, and then like there's only a few superstar star
Have you ever
chips that
found
like
anybody that maybe doesn't have the star chip, but you see something in them and you're like, I need to develop it.
yeah,
I recognize it, but I
I'm
need to.
working with a couple of people right now. I think they have it, but they haven't fully utilized
Mm,
it. That's where I come in to pull out your greatness,
mhm. I love that.
challenge you, pull out your greatness. And that's part of, again, what I do.
Absolutely. Can you talk to me about the importance of gut before data?
Um, that's a great question. So at the end of the day, there's all this data. So everyone's looking at the same data, right?
Hmm.
And then there's gut.
Hmm. What
The
you
minute you
feel.
hear a song and you get goosebumps and you feel. So I believe at the beginning, someone has to give a shit. Someone has to care. And that's not based upon data, it's based upon human connectivity.
Right, right.
So that's called gut before we blend in the data. Now, with that being said, I've created a product that's launching very soon called Groove, Gruuve. And what Groove does is take the best ears that we vetted out through AI and puts them in a digital room to listen to music along with AI and machine learning. We mix it all up and sprinkle in cultural cloud if you have it or not, it affects your score. We're able to break down any new song to
Wow.
guide you, to give you advice, to help you get better faster. And then if the song has an incredible score over a certain point,
Hmm.
that goes in our Groove 100 list globally for people to see and go make deals and go tell everyone that you got this massive score. So it's almost like hit prediction. And then from there, we'll do content prediction. We'll have people put up their TikToks and stuff or their Instagram posts prior to see which ones would, get the most views, stop the scroll. But the song prediction product that we just created, I've tested, the people running it for me know nothing about music. So I know my gut is what I think to hit and not. And I put these two songs into it and they came back better than I even thought. So it's a very interesting thing that I'm going through right now and trying this out. And COVID's been helpful because it allowed me to not be running around the city and doing lunches and dinners and drinks and all the BS and going to LA and planes. And I'm like, I'm
You're all over the
focused.
map, Charlie. I
Yo,
see
you
you.
know it. But now I'm like in my Everlast boxing sweats and I can talk to you and just, and be calm and look at my schedule every hour on Zoom and it's organized and tight. I can think more. And
Hmm.
you know what? I think my life's forever changed because of COVID-19. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not in the city and I'm okay.
Like you
I was
feel
always
so
like, I mean, New York City, the action. I don't care. It's a global game. What we're doing right now will go globally. What we're doing and the new people that I'm meeting. I don't know if I would have been able to do your podcast right now
hmm.
if COVID didn't happen. I'd be at a lunch right now.
Yeah, of course. It's
You
been
know
hard.
what? I'm just saying. So that's the beauty of I think of it. And what I really want to do as a preacher of letting everybody know they can get better, they can get unstuck. Um, they need people, I think, like me around them to help them and push them. but they must remain and be the CEO of themselves, be responsible for their actions. And if you're lazy, get off your ass and get to work. And if you don't know what you want, listen, I figured it out too. I thought I wanted to be like a record company executive my whole life. And then I didn't. Then I wanted to go on a TV show, but I didn't own the TV show. And Diddy was the boss.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as I liked it, I didn't love it because I had like bosses and people telling me what to like and do. And
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't really like fun for me. And so like the Groove thing will end up being a TV show, um, for sure. Groove will end up being a TV show online and all the other stuff. So um, that would be like the natural transition. Imagine if you could have a show based upon songs that were already vetted out.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean,
So
there's
it's all like kind of coming together. I didn't think of this a year ago. It's not on my to-do list, but it came to me when I knew could hear a hit. And then if you can combine it with others that could, and AI and machine, well, that's interesting. And then now you're vetting it out as opposed to like doing a call to action with American Idol, um, um, and everyone's auditioning to sing covers.
Mhm.
Well, I'm the opposite. You're gonna come on with your hits. That's interesting.
Now,
That's interesting.
speaking with that, how can one get into that program or that software? What's that process?
If anyone sends to me right now, um, if anyone sends to me right now, team at musicmastery.com, or actually, no, if anyone sends it to me, send it to team at musicmastery.com and I'll forward it to our team at Groove. Right now we're in beta, we're testing everything. So please don't send 10 records, just send what you feel is your best song or two.
Mhm.
Name, unreleased music would be great. Even if something is released, we have the ability to our user experience and our user interface to upload any link from any DSP onto the app.
Well, that's
So
awesome.
that's gonna be awesome too. I think I've hit gold on this, not just for me. Then we're gonna figure out a way where a portion of proceeds help artists. So it's all a lot of work, but we're on it now, and I'm super excited about that. But it all ties into even music mastery because music mastery is just a place where there's 99% of the people don't know who to speak to when they upload their music. Over 40,000 songs a day get released to DSPs. They go to a black hole. No one knows who to talk to. So that's why I created Music Mastery. But the truth is we can't let everyone in because of that the personalization of it won't really be effective. So I created something that's with Music Mastery. I have a 6-week online course of 6 hours that anyone can get for $9.97 and they can watch it. But you pay a little bit more, and then you get my Monday night group webinars on Zoom. And then you see all the little gallery of everyone that becomes like your friends, and then you have your own new friends that are like-minded like you, which
Collaborations, partnerships, right?
crazy. And then
Mhm.
on Fridays, I did New Music Friday. And on New Music Friday, everyone comes up on it, and we talk, we listen to music, and then they play inside the community and have their own relationships, like a gang. We're like a gang, and so that's been really helpful. And then I'll somehow tie Groove into testing records and all that stuff. So I'm excited. It's a great time to be an entrepreneur. It's a great time to be focused. For me, a lot of people, in my world don't, try to communicate with anyone. They think they have enough friends. They think they know everything. I'm still learning. I'm learning every single day from people like you, from people that want to hear my wisdom, but I want to hear theirs as well. And we pivot and we move accordingly. One of my mentors, Jimmy Iovine, always told me, never look in the rearview mirror. You'll hurt your neck. Keep looking straight, and most importantly, pivot when necessary. And that's what we do.
That's powerful.
That's what we do.
I think it's
Yeah.
amazing what you are doing, and you're creating so many opportunities for many artists all around the world, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
you're able to see the perspective of, from compared to years ago to what wasn't available to what you're creating now. So I
Hmm.
know, there's going to be a lot that's going to change, and there's going to be so much out there and available. So for any of you guys that are listening, anybody that's interested in, music or artistry, I will attach the links below, and you guys contact Music Mastery at Charlie Walk. So I'll display all the links. So Charlie, what has been your biggest struggle and challenge within your own entrepreneurial journey?
I think part of being an entrepreneur is the whole setup. I'm learning tech, the back end. I know as a forward-facing artist or TV personality or a guy that goes out and sells and markets and stuff, I know how to do that. But learning the operations of what Typeform is and Zapier and Kajabi and all of the things that connect the back end tech, which don't really have a face. You know, even Shopify, PayPal, Stripe. I mean, pay funnels, quick funnels. For those of you who don't know, it's all of the tech that makes up a lot of the stuff we do. And then something breaks down, or you don't have a payment that's working, and it stops the whole chain. You know, it's and then there's also the artists that you sign, you know, you do production deals with and developing them with your own team. And at the beginning no one cares, you see the vision that but maybe no one else does, and there's a lot with that as well. So I think it's just harder, but the rewards are much greater. And then it's much more exciting to be able to hold on. I don't know what just happened here. Are you there?
Yes.
Okay, I gotta find you again. Where did you go?
Can you see me?
Hold on. There's a glitch. There we go. Yeah, I think it's just being an entrepreneur clearly is much harder to figure out how to actually create income streams, whatever. But if you can sort of like spend less and be smart on keeping costs down, but being uh, focused on where the future of what you're doing will go, it can be very rewarding financially and also personally, because I just started the Charlie Walk Foundation. It's going to be a 501c, which is a charity. And we're going to be able to raise money to help underprivileged artists, creators, disruptors, anything in the arts, whether it's $5 or $500,000. We're going to raise off the website. People can donate, and then we're going to actually show the cause and effect of what we're doing to help. And that's going to be a really interesting thing for us. And that's all connected to everything that I'm doing, right? So yeah, we're super excited about it. We can't wait. Really can't wait.
That is awesome. I love that. And I will definitely need that link as well, so I can plug that in as well.
I would love that. That's charliewalkfoundation.org.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll display that as well. So when it comes to, because I know you mentioned earlier, when you see talent, right? There's going to be times where people don't agree with you, right? So how do you determine the good from the great that is out there?
So I always say good is the enemy of great. And I don't know, for me, I think it's very simple. I think people are smarter than you think. And
Mhm.
it starts off with me and how I feel and I think. If I think something's great, I'm going for it.
Mhm.
At the beginning of me working with Ariana Grande, it wasn't like everyone saying she was great. Oh, she's from a Nickelodeon show. She's cute. I'm like, no, this is one of the greatest of all time, but you just don't know it yet. So someone has to believe at the beginning. An artist is a startup until they're not.
Mm.
So yeah, you got to have Justin Loveliner, who signed Billie Eilish. I think he signed when he was 20 years old. He signed her to his label Darkroom. I mean, she's the biggest star in the world now, and you should read his Rolling Stone article. Everyone said no. He signed her at 14.
Yeah, didn't she just win like a couple Grammys? I think the
Yeah, but yeah,
biggest
she
artist,
does
right?
arenas and whatever else. She's the biggest star in the world. He signed her at 14.
Wow.
Okay, so that's he believed, no one else did. I'm not sure I would have got her at 14, 15, 16, 17. She's very, very different and unique. He saw something that no one else saw.
Mhm.
And I respect that. And that's the same thing for me. That's what I do. So only a few that really have a non-biased opinion on sort of what we think you would like.
Mhm.
So I feel like I'm your curator, like what I like in my specific genres that I get and I'm good at.
Mhm.
I believe if I like it and do the right thing by it, it's going to go wide. And that's what I bet on every time. But I don't do committees. Committees are committees. Diane Warren, a major famous songwriter, one of the biggest of all time, taught me that she doesn't do committees. Just committees are committees. And I'm like, I'm stealing that. And maybe it's plagiarism, but I'm stealing it.
I love that. So you state that every song and artist is a startup when it comes to building a brand for your artists. What are your top 3 tips for someone who is trying to build their brand or maybe an online presence?
Um, listen, you have to stop the scroll. You have to be disruptive. You have to be creative. You have to be clever. If you're just calling it in, no one cares.
Mhm.
And you got to make people care about what you're doing. And by the way, if no one cares, you know what that means? Don't tell anyone this. No one cares.
Mhm.
So maybe you've made some shitty product, content, song. Maybe just no one cares. So go back to the drawing board, put your ego down,
Mm.
fix it. And maybe sometimes if you're an artist and you're just not connecting at all over many, many years, pivot and don't be an artist. Go sing and have fun with it, but maybe you're not meant to compete at the highest level. That's the biggest challenge of having that conversation with yourself. Not everyone's a star. How many new stars are there in the last 5 years? 5?
Yeah, there's not that many.
Who's replaced Lady Gaga? Billie Eilish?
Mm.
Who replaced Lord? Billie Eilish? Who replaced Katy Perry? Dua Lipa? I mean, there's very, very few
It's rare.
new girls and guys in groups. Who's the new Maroon 5? There is none.
Mm-mm.
They've held the iconic spot of sort of like not boy band, but
Yeah,
group,
there's not even
male
girl
group.
groups anymore.
Who's a new boy band since One Direction?
Mm.
Forgetting K-pop. Who? No one. It's weird. Who's a new Bieber? No one. I think I have a new Bieber, and we're breaking him and developing him. He's 13. I gotta wait till he's 15, probably,
I saw
as we develop
it's
him.
the young one that you always promote, right?
Yeah, I promote him, just showing everyone I'm documenting.
Yeah,
I'm
he's a great kid.
documenting greatness. He's really good. He's getting great. He's 13, but he's got that starchip. Looks you in the eye, writes, sings, performs, acts. Incredible. Developing him. I'm not trying to break a song. I'm trying to chase the artist, to break the artist over time, to not put the pressure on him. Let him be a kid still. Guide him. Doing a Zoom call with the parents today, talking about the journey, not jamming it. Can't jam it. He is a star. He'll be a star in time. I'm not chasing the money, chasing the artist.
Is there ever resistance when it comes to working with younger artists and their parents, where maybe they want to push a little too much, and you're like,
Yeah, well, because a lot of times the parents are counting on the kid to make the revenue, right?
right,
It's their dream to make the money, private jets and planes. So yeah, there's always that. If it gets to a point where I can't handle it, I'm out. I just won't do it. It has to be the way I do it.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, that happens all the time. The parents, don't forget, grew up with these children when they wanted to sing at 2 or 3, right? So they've been dealing with this stuff for a lot longer than me. And by the time it gets to me, they're sometimes crispy, sometimes just burnt out, sometimes so involved they don't see the light because they have either demoitis of hearing those songs so many times, and or they just can't figure out how to break it, or they're just tired of it, or they're just in it I mean, there's so many different scenarios. So it's very, very exciting to be able for me to come in and do it.
I love that, and I feel like you're doing an amazing job. So let's talk a little bit about the music mastery. What are the
Yes, let's do it.
benefits?
Listen, it's something that's not for everyone. It's a premium product. It's not free. We've got great head coaches in me. We have special guests, from vocal coaches to production people to marketers to social media geniuses, amazing people that come on, playlisting types of people. And it's Mondays we do our group. It's Mentorship Pro. It's expensive, but we do. You get me over 50 hours a year, and then our Friday sessions are another 50. So it's over 100 hours a year, plus my online proprietary, 6-week program that they watch without me. And then you get community and special events, and you get a hoodie. So yeah, it's been great, but I changed everything. You cannot just join it and sign up on the site. You have to email us pretty much, unless you want to watch the program for $9.97. You don't need me for that. You can fill out the credit card, but we're vetting everybody out now. It just got crazy. Everyone wanted to join and pay, but I don't believe everyone's money the same color, because if you don't have the potential to be great, it's hard for me to help you.
Of course.
And I don't want to play make believe and be phony and say, I'm taking your money, but there's no way. So I like to do, they set me up once a week. We line up Zoom calls with the different people that my team thinks could be great. And then I sort of interview them as a final stop, and we decide who's in. I'd like to make it bigger by doing masterminds in every city across the world, which anyone can go to. That'll be my thing, open for everybody. Sort of what Tony Robbins does, or a guy named Grant Cardone, or Ty Lopez. We're going to do that. I think the actual group thing that we're doing on Mondays and Fridays is something that you kind of have to apply for. That way, no one's mad at me when someone's talking or they're seeing, and it's just, you know what I'm saying? It's just then I'm like, I get people upset. So as long as there's a certain level of not even sophistication, but just smarts and want and need, there's that level for our mentorship pro platinum product. But the course that I shot is awesome. And I spent many hours editing it down to 6. And people learn a lot. No one's asked for the money back, which is fantastic. And that, I think, for under $1,000, you get something that you can watch up to a year and take your notes, and cheaper than any school or anything else out there that, really does a deep dive into all the things we spoke about, plus, plus, plus. It's been wonderful for me, and I'm really glad I got to do it,
That's exciting. So what is next, Charlie? What do you have planned after COVID-19?
Well, we're signing artists to my entertainment company. We're building up music mastery and making that a global product for sure. I want to hit outside of the US and really target some advertising there and go there once COVID-19 is over. And then my Groove company, Groove, I think turns into something much bigger than song prediction. It's a TV show, entertainment company, music company on its highest scale. Because if I'm getting alerts inside of a song that you submitted telling me it's a smash, I have inside dibs on the data plus my ears helping blow this up.
Doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, it's going to be super interesting. So I'm excited.
I'm excited for that. Maybe we can do a part 2 in person once that launches.
Let's do it. But listen, thank you for everything. I'm a big fan and supporter of you. If there's anything that I can do, please, please, please let me know.